Okay, this might be one of the most, if not the most important video I've made so far on this channel. And the reason that is because I'm going to cover what I think is the number one underlying issue that everybody faces when it comes to personal development. We all face this issue of wanting something. You want to pursue a goal, you want to obtain a certain lifestyle, you want to become a certain person, whatever that is for you, your vision, your ideal future. And when you think about it, you get excited, you get goosebumps, it makes you feel alive. You want it, truly, you truly want it. And maybe for a couple weeks or maybe even a month, you make some consistent efforts at getting there. You are going through the steps each and every day, you're making a consistent effort, but eventually you burn out. And no matter how hard you try, or no matter what you say or what you do, you keep repeating the cycle where you develop a vision, you fall in love with it, you do the steps that you need to do in order to get there, but you reach a certain point where you plateau or you just feel burnt out and then you quit, and then you end up back at square one, and then maybe a couple months later you get that burning fire again, and it's rinse and repeat. It's like this dreadful cycle that never ends. Why is that? Why, when we have a vision, something that we want in our future so bad, can we not just do the work that we need to do in order to get there? Why do I keep falling back into old habits, bad habits, my old ways that keep me stagnant? The reason that is because you need to undergo some sort of mindset change. You need to rework your mental framework. You need to really rewire your internal system. Like that's how deep this issue is. And that sounds like a impossible thing to do or something that's going to take forever. The reality is it can happen in one day. It can happen in an instant, in a moment. But something internally has to align in order for that change to happen. Now, it's not a matter of doing X, Y, and Z and then you'll always get this alignment so that you can make that change. It's more so doing X, Y, and Z consistently so that you can open yourself up to the opportunity for that alignment to happen, and you adopting this new mindset, this new mental framework that allows you to pursue your goals, your vision with consistency and discipline and all those things that you're currently lacking. So how do you do that? Well, the way that I did it, and trust me, I had to go through a pretty extreme mental rework. There was a point in my life, specifically in 2020, when I was at my lowest. Both my parents had just passed away. I got kicked out of my new home at the age of 18, so I was completely on my own. I had no money, I had no drive, no discipline, no motivation to do anything at all. I was severely malnourished. I didn't eat, I didn't sleep, I was addicted to video games, and my life was a mess. I had no direction, no sense of purpose, nothing. And I was running into this issue where I developed this vision for my future, this ideal, this dream, right? This distant dream where I had money, I grew a personal brand, I was traveling the world, I was able to work from wherever, whenever. I was making content and my work was fulfilling. I had a beautiful wife and a lot of kids. I want to eventually have a big happy family. That's always been a lifelong goal of mine. But my life was not reflecting that in any way whatsoever at the time. And I kept running into this issue where I would get the motivation to start moving in that direction, but I just kept falling back on the same bad old habits, and I was staying stagnant. Eventually what ended up happening was I started to explore deep meditation. And you might be thinking, here we go. There's another guy talking about some breathwork, meditative, spiritual awakening. Look, you can perceive it however you want. Look, I get it. I'm not this woo-woo spiritual guy either. But it worked. And I noticed that when I would isolate myself and isolate my mind, and my thoughts started to slow down, along with my breathing and my heart rate. And all the lights were off and there were no distractions and it was just me. I was able to find a part of myself. I was able to reach a part of my mind. I was able to reach this state of stillness and peace where I could kind of reshape things, if that makes sense. I was no longer living in this chaotic world with a bunch of noise and distractions. I could really focus all of my energy internally. And when I did that, I was able to kind of identify the things in my behavior, let's say, that consistently prevented me from making any meaningful change in my life. For example, I allowed my emotions to dictate my actions far too often. And obviously this led to me giving up time and time again. So I couldn't get anywhere in life. This was a major, major issue for me. And by reaching this state, I was kind of able to extract that weakness. And I was able to kind of cater to it. Now, what do you mean by cater to it? Like, what exactly are you doing to do this? It's not like, it might not make sense. You're really hyperfixating on a certain weakness to where when your energy and your attention is focused on just that, you naturally kind of adapt and it gets better. Whereas if you're not hyperfixated, which it's really hard to do that when you're not in this meditative deep state, again, because you are being distracted, you are thinking about things that are outside of yourself, you're distracted by noise and whatever else. It's hard to really hyperfixate on a weakness or an area of improvement. So although there's not really a step-by-step way to improve a certain issue, I promise you, if you really, really focus on it, naturally, subconsciously, your mind kind of adapts and it kind of improves it on its own. I don't know, that might not make sense, but I promise you, that's what happens.